everybody. Jay Verna, Josh Best from Webster Recreation Center, along with Dr. Michael Stewart from Genesee Valley Physical Therapy. We also have a special guest, Mr. Sam Guider from the Rec Center. He's a trainer and a coach and instructor here for us, so he's going to join us today. Several questions that we've got over the last couple weeks since our last podcast, so we're going to get right to it.
Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so the first question we had was someone that was talking about the new year coming up and getting back into the gym. So they said, what are some adherence strategies to sticking with an exercise workout schedule or routine or even physical therapy exercises for the start of the new year that they might be able to utilize?
Every fitness person's favorite time of year.
Yeah.
New Year's resolution.
Absolutely.
Let Sam lead off.
Well, I think this seems like a really simple answer, but the first thing is to start.
Right.
I think a lot of people, myself included sometimes, will dissect something and we try to look for the best answer and search for the best answer when sometimes the best answer is the simplest one, and that's just to start. So number one is educate yourself, get yourself into the gym, start some sort of physical activity. For some people, resistance training, that might not be their strength or something that they like to do, that's fine. Some people don't like to do cardio, that's fine as well, as long as you're getting your body moving and partaking in those healthy behaviors. I think that's step number one.
I mean, it's not to go in there and Google and what's the best workout for me or anything. A lot of times it's just get your butt to the gym and use the resources there. A lot of times they have a lot of pictures on like how do I use the equipment, or they have staff members there that are always willing. I mean, you guys are always sitting at the desk willing to help out. When someone comes in, how do I use this machine, or am I doing this correctly? So, utilize the people that work in the gyms and just don't be afraid to try it,
I think you guys are both right. Starting is a huge thing, but again, don't overthink it. Don't feel like, I got to do X amount on the treadmill. You're kind of defeated before you even start. So even just pick fun activities, or just come in here and, okay, I'm going to walk on a treadmill for 10 minutes. That's a good start to it, and then just gradually build on it. Most of the things that allow us to adhere to anything are just creating habits. So pick one little thing. Come in. What's the smallest thing that you can almost 100% say I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna be able to do 3 or 4 times a week over the course of the next month, and then just stick with that. And then also surrounding yourself with maybe friends and people that are supportive of it. And then of course, seeing any one of us, we'd be happy to point you in the right direction.
And going along with like doing it with people and friends, like maybe find a class that one or two of you are interested in. We hold so many different types of classes here, and a lot of times we get more people to these classes because someone took the class and like, I really like this class, you should come with me next time. So I think classes are a good way to start, and they might help you feel more confident using equipment or machines and doing it properly than just going in there by yourself the first time and trying to fight through it. So.
And the last point I'll add is, sorry, excuse me. I like to use the term sometimes check your ego at the door, because a lot of times I think sometimes people are afraid to walk in there. We see, Johnny Muscles over there deadlifting 300 pounds, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that, and I'm afraid to do something like that. Or you see somebody on the treadmill that's running at a really fast pace and for a really long duration of time, and people tend to be embarrassed because they can't quite do that. I think, again, like we said, start somewhere, and then as Jay mentioned, gradually progress, but gradually progress. So say you start at 5 minutes walking on the treadmill. Maybe after a couple weeks, you move it up to 7 or 8 minutes walking on the treadmill, and then you constantly progress to the point, maybe, 2 months down the line, I'm going to jog for 2 minutes and then walk for the last 8. And then eventually you're making it up to that point to where you are maybe running for a mile or running for 10 to 12 minutes. But if you tried to start that right from the beginning, you might not be able to stick with that pattern for a long time because you're not used to it.
Or you
build
might
those
get hurt
behaviors.
if you do it
Absolutely.
quick, so.
So I think, pick something fun, something you enjoy that's active. Surround yourself with supportive people. Also too, and then we'll move on to the next one, is I think what's really important is finding a place to work out where you feel comfortable, where you don't feel like intimidated with someone on the free weight side lifting a lot of weight. Here at the community center, it's kind of more of a family atmosphere. We don't get a lot of that intimidation factor, but certainly find a place that you feel comfortable going, and that that, hey, I feel good here, I feel accepted, I can do whatever I need to, and
All right, next question. And it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about. So, as a beginner, someone that's starting weightlifting, or someone that has been doing it for a little while, what are the best rep and set schemes that we can do, or how many times should you lift a certain amount of weight before progressing or regressing?
I'll lead off with this one, though I know Josh is really
100 sets, 100 reps.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to look for a triple double.
Yeah.
He just learned what that was this morning.
But I'll lead off with a lot of it's really going to depend on your goals, your exercise experience. But we'll say in general, if this is someone that's just beginning, it's just maybe somewhere in the 8 to 12 rep range. We're not going to do anything obviously super crazy weight wise. A lot of it is just kind of learning movement patterns, and getting people to feel like they got some work in without debilitating them and making them feel like they can't walk the next 2 or 3 days. So I think in general, starting with a little higher reps in the 2 to 3 set range for each is probably a good general idea.
The most important part is that you're doing the exercise correctly, not how much weight you're throwing up with it. So, we love to see that someone using maybe a little bit lighter weights, but going, like you said, 8 to 12 reps of perfect movement every time.
Yeah, learn it good, learn it well, and then the other thing too is depending on what your goals are, you would progress it from there. But what you guys got to
Anything
say?
else?
I've got, just like you said, doing the exercise correctly. The technique is obviously number one. Through a full range of motion, I think strength through a full range of motion is obviously key as well. And then not to counter what you said, but in regards to weight, again, if you're not doing something correctly and you're using too heavy of weight, that's where we end up seeing people going to Mike a lot of times because they get hurt, they break down. But at the same time, if you're using a weight that is very easy and you're not feeling that sort of metabolic or physical stress, then that might be especially by those last maybe 2 reps and you don't really feel like you did a lot of work, then that might be a cue for you to maybe bump it up a little bit because your muscles do need to experience a certain threshold of force before they'll start to physiologically change. So,
What about going heavier though, Josh? I see some of the people that you work with in the gym, they're trying to grow the size of their muscle, they're trying to be bigger essentially. What do you recommend when it comes to that?
Good question.
Hypertrophy, bro.
So like
Protein.
touched on, lots of protein, only protein. But it's all going to dictate, on your goals and where you're currently at, at that point in time. So I'll use, for example, if somebody is looking to, gain some strength, I'll use a non-athlete, so they don't have to worry about ending in season or off season, and they're looking to really boost up some strength. We'll keep the reps a little bit lower, 5, anything other than that. 6 gets a little crazy, so if we're really trying to push the strength and push that threshold, 5, 3 reps, 2, and then from there, as the intensity increases, so we're using heavier weights, the risk for injury is a little bit higher, but biggest thing is, techniques on point. We're putting everything we have into those, 1, 2, 3, reps, anything from 5, 6, maybe 8, total sets at that heavier weight. But you definitely want to drop down the repetitions just due to the fact of it's going to be tiring. You're putting a lot of effort and energy into it, but the turnaround is you're gaining that strength, which will have carryover for other endeavors in life. And so, same thing with an athlete. It's just kind of rolling back. Off season time to push that. But if you're looking for strength, technique number one, and then pushing that weight, but keeping the repetitions a little bit lower so we can put more energy and effort into those sets.
Yeah, so I think the overall takeaway would be, if you're looking for more muscular type endurance, you're looking at more of a high rep scheme versus if you're looking for more muscular strength, you're looking at more of a lower rep scheme. And generally, when you're looking for hypertrophy or building the muscle up, you're looking at a more mid-range rep scheme for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. The last one, we actually had someone come in who we kind of got a myth thrown at us. I'm not lifting more because I feel like I was told that I'm a female, so it was a woman that came to us, and I shouldn't be doing a lot of resistance or heavy lifting because it's bad for me, which let's just start by saying that's completely false.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely false. So It's
In general, it's
yeah,
completely false,
well,
yeah.
right. As long as you're like healthy
Right.
and everything, then there's no reason that gender plays any role in your ability to be a strength training or not,
No,
in my
absolutely
opinion. So I'll kind of let you go from that.
You know, I think a lot of it is just identifying or goals that you have, and I think there's a lot of myths out there. It's more of a social thing that you know, if you lift heavy weights, you're going to get huge and jacked, and you know, I guess maybe most women don't want to look that way, but I guess the short answer is that's not going to happen. There's a lot of other things that need to be present in terms of hormones and all that type of thing for you to really look like Arnold did in his prime if you're lifting heavy weights. So I'll start off with
or
saying,
Josh looks today.
Yeah. So again, if you
Yeah.
so if you're, let's face it, most of the goals that people come in that have, it's weight loss, it's fat burning, people want to look better.
Tone
Yeah.
up.
They want to, yeah, exactly. Tone. That's a word that we hear all the time. So, but again, in order for you to stimulate your body to burn more fat, to help you with your weight loss, to have those toned muscles, however you want to describe those, is there has to be enough stimulation. There has to be enough stress to the body. And resistance training is a great way to do that. Now, when we're talking about heavy weights, when it comes to women, or really anybody, could be a beginner, it's relative to that person. So getting out under enough of a load of weight that is forcing your body to produce enough force where it's actually going to adapt and grow, and you'll see those changes that you're looking for, I think is really good. And then we won't talk about it now because we touched upon it in our last podcast. That combined with the proper recovery strategies is going to allow you to get towards whatever those aesthetic goals are that you have. So,
It's
in a very
it's
general sense.
totally a myth. Like anybody will benefit for the most part from some sort of resistance.
Yeah,
and overload.
YouTube, was it Steph Cohen at a body weight of
yeah.
123,
Like Stephanie, yeah.
deadlifting over 500 pounds, and if you look at her body type, she's just a little thing. So, yeah, that's definitely a myth.
Absolutely, and I mean, I've been lucky enough here and at Burn, shout out to Burn where I work in Pittsburgh, I get to work with a lot of women, and again, that question constantly comes up, and I think the big thing is understanding the different factors that go into these really muscular physiques, whether you're a male or female, understanding the factors that actually go into that, like Jay said. Again, if you're not eating the calories to sustain that kind of musculature or that kind of body type,
Or supplementing with
then you-
testosterone.
exactly. Or again, going into hormones, testosterone, you don't really have to worry about getting that bulky because you won't. But
And that goes the same for men too. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
So, like, it's the same principles apply.
Absolutely.
For both genders.
So, in regards to tone, kind of just a lot of reiterating what Jay said, toning up those muscles, increasing that lean muscle mass, that toned physique that I think a lot of people, male and female alike, want to get, that comes from, again, resistance training to a point to where our lean muscle mass increases, and then also eating healthy and sleeping to the point to where our fat mass decreases.
Yeah.
And
It's a myth.
Yep, it's a myth, but again, all good questions. Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's it for today, for this week. So
I'm going to close by saying if you have any questions, we talked about a lot of different things, and I think ultimately having a resource that can kind of guide you and set you on the right track for a lot of people is actually a good thing. Next Monday, we are having a promotional sale on our personal training rates, $30 per hourly session for as many sessions you want to buy. It's going to be next Monday, which is the 18th.
yeah,
That day only during business hours, so either give us a call or stop in, make great presents, present to yourself.
treat yourself for Christmas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If
If
you're
you
gonna
work
invest in
with,
something, invest in your health.
Work with one of these guys here, that'll get you started on the right track.
Absolutely.
and just because maybe you go to physical therapy now doesn't mean you shouldn't take advantage of that. That's a great rate, and I know a lot of the patients that I'm seeing right now, I'm telling them, like, yes, you're in pain, but we'll work together to make a good routine so that when you're done with PT, you can get in and do some personal training too.
Absolutely.
So,
Get
if you have
strong
questions,
and-
just let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks. Till next time.
Yep.